Hello. Okay, so for our project for critical issues in arts and culture, we created our learning module over why opportunities with art are important for low income students and how there are many benefits that come with art education, especially for the low income students. So I chose the article, which it's called Selection into and Academic Benefits from Arts Related Courses in Middle School Among Low Income, Ethically Diverse Youth, which I also got from the Texas Tech Library. In this article, it talks about how important art is for children's social, emotional, and behavioral development, and how opportunities with art in schools are dwindling in low income communities. Although art is dwindling in some low-income areas, in communities where low-income children have the opportunity with art, it is proven that low-income students with high levels of art participation pass high-income children because of the connection they have with art, which shows a reason why art is important to low-income students. A study was also shown in the article where a committee on the arts and humanities launched the Turnaround Arts Initiative, which was designed to implement high-quality arts to low-income school districts, and it revealed an increase in the students' reading and math abilities, whereas schools that received similar school advancements, except for in non-art related areas, were shown to be less improved. So that right there just shows how important art is, because not only does it just help with art related things, it helps with like math and science and other school subjects. An activity I provided to help give a better understanding of the readings and video lecture is a discussion board post, where in this you will discuss if you agree or disagree with art in low income communities and if you believe it results in a positive way. And you will also talk about what type of art should be available to low income students, if any.
As Kinsey mentioned, art education is dwindling in some low-income communities. Schools have begun to be regulated by many policies, one of those being the No Child Left Behind Act. These policies serve the purpose of overcoming the achievement gap and providing an equal learning opportunity for all students. The No Child Left Behind Act has favored math and reading subjects, causing arts education to decrease in the school system. This has significantly affected those of lower income communities. And as I mentioned, the system has begun devoting instructional lectures to English and mathematics in order to meet the required standards for the No Child Left Behind Act. School curriculums have begun to put more emphasis on standardized tests rather than arts education. Arts education in schools is viewed more as an emotional aspect of a student rather than an intellectual aspect, and for this reason, art is not prioritized in the school curriculums. You'll be reading more on this in one of this week's lecture articles by Rogan Kim titled Why We Need Arts Education. I found that there is an interesting section in this article that you will be reading titled Suggestions for Further Research. This specific section explores what can be done to continue enforcing arts education in the school curriculum, and I found that to be very interesting. But the gradual increase in the lack of art education in the school system is impacting not only academic achievement, creativity, the students that are at risk, but the lack of art education is also impacting so much more.
As someone with a background in dance and performing arts who has had the opportunity to work with low-income communities in arts outreach programs, this topic is very close to my heart. I've had the privilege of seeing firsthand the results that dance and arts in general have on low-income students and how their lives are changed. One of my current students, whom I have known for over 4 years now, was struggling in his elementary school classes, both academically and emotionally. Creating an opportunity and safe space for him in an after-school dance program through a partnership with Ballet Lubbock, Communities in Schools, and his elementary school provided him a creative outlet which allowed him to grow socially and emotionally, which in turn inspired him to achieve higher academic results as well. This student was in the after-school dance program for 3 years before transferring to Ballet Lubbock full-time when he aged out of his elementary school program. Although he's no longer in the after-school program, the results are still long-lasting. I have the honor of mentoring him and teaching him at no cost to his family, since their economic status would not allow him to be active in the arts without a full scholarship. He recognizes that dance is a way out of his current economic status, and that dance and the arts can provide a way to go to college and achieve a higher education than any family members previously earned, simply because he has the ability, talent, and work ethic to receive a scholarship to a university, and a support system willing to help. All this is because he was engaged in an arts program that allowed him to flourish.
Art and education might seem like just an elective, but it is so much more. You do not have to be passionate about the arts in order to benefit from arts programs in the educational setting. You might not even recognize certain items that are actually part of art education. In our module, benefits from arts and education are the pillar of what we have focused on. In our article by Rogue and Kim, it states that research shows that arts education promotes various positive cognitive habits and leads to positive effects on learning in other disciplines. This perspective is a huge component for art in educational environments. By allowing students opportunities to freely express their creative side, we are also supporting their mental health and confidence in other areas. When supported appropriately, students should feel confident and empowered by these artistic opportunities. Additionally, in the article, selection into and academic benefits from arts-related courses in middle school among low-income, ethnically diverse youth, it supports the notion that sustained participation in the arts may be helpful for various aspects of children's cognitive, social, emotional, and behavioral development, and can improve students' academic performance. This means that students who regularly participate in and contribute to artistic endeavors are likely to show positive outcomes in more areas than peers without art educational experiences.
Students that attend schools in lower income areas often do not get the same opportunities as students that attend schools in higher income areas. So if we were to add art education into these lower income schools, we would not only help the students have more opportunity in the arts, but it would also help to improve their education in the 4 core classes that schools teach outside of those classes, and it would improve their creative as well as their technical skills. These skills would vary on which art the student decides to pursue, but not only would it help with these skills, it would also help to encourage the student to have better emotional skills, and it would help them to be more mentally tough. In the article, Arts Education in Secondary Schools, Effects and Effectiveness, it is discussed that adding arts into secondary schools can not only increase a student's sense of enjoyment as well as encourage stress relief, but it can also encourage them to have higher self-esteem and more self-confidence, which shows that it's not only going to help to improve their education, but it's just going to make them overall more rounded and enjoy themselves a lot more. This article goes further into this discussion by saying that by adding art education into these secondary schools, it can also help to improve test scores of the students who are involved in this art program. It improves these test scores, which can help them to actually graduate sooner with early graduation programs, and it can also help them to get into better universities after high school so that they can continue their education further. It oftentimes seems very unfair that these students that go to school in lower income areas do not get the same opportunity as students that go to school in higher income areas, and by adding in art education, we're adding in programs that can help these students to be much more successful, not only in school, but it can help them to be more successful once they graduate going to other schools, and bigger universities, grad school, anything like that. So by adding these programs, we're making a tremendous impact on each student that decides to be a part of them. All of the research done throughout this module has shown extreme support for adding art education into lower income schools to help give more opportunity. Not only does this data show positive outcomes, but it can also improve a student's education as well as their well-being.
As schools have eradicated the arts in low-income neighborhoods, they have gotten rid of the passion for school altogether. Introduction to arts in schools shows students that learning can be more creative and fun. In the video that I found for research, we can see that after some states like California passed the Act Prop 13, saying that property owners have lower taxes, so with that, all the funding needed to keep the arts alive in public schools disappears. This led to lower income schools not having access to art supplies or education, and these schools proportionally have larger class sizes. Studies show that lower income students that have access to art education have lower dropout rates, and it is very important to keep students in the school for their full term for their future. Having an outlet for your personal growth is extremely important for a child's development. My group and I would just like to say thank you for watching.